Welcome to the Daily Boogie.
Without much further ado, thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Please share. Let's get a debate going. Let's have a free, open exchange of ideas and make use of this internet thing while we still can. Let's start.
Quite a moment at the White House today. The president struck a surprisingly moderate tone on immigration, or seemed to, while some congressional Republicans reminded him of the stakes involved.
Chain migration is so insidious. It is the fundamental flaw in the immigration policy of the United States. If any conversation about DACA is being held without that consideration, I agree with border security as well, but any conversation about that is not going to go anywhere in the United States Senate.
Britt Hume is Fox News' senior political analyst, and for good reason. He joins us to assess today's events. Hey, Britt, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm the oldest guy, right?
Well, there's
some
that.
People would say, yeah, some people would say senior moment political analyst.
I think you earned it.
Look for a moment.
Just straight away, point of order. Does anyone else feel a little bit sad that Tucker gave away the bow tie? Isn't there room in our lives for more bow ties? Just a side issue.
Well, I appreciate that. It looked today as if the president himself had had a senior moment when Dianne Feinstein, as you reported earlier, said that she was hoping that there could be a clean bill on DACA fix, that is to say, the bill to let the dreamers who are here illegally stay.
The Bill of Love. The Bill of Love. I would suggest perhaps a little too transparent. A little too transparent. But, I mean, this is the Don. So, yeah, it is what it is. But the bill of love, I think a number of people may be rolling their eyes. But, again, that might be the intention. I'm not sure.
In the country.
Yes.
And the president said that that's what he wanted too. And the conversation proceeded along those lines, whereupon it became clear to the Republicans sitting around the table that that really isn't what Mr. Trump understood by a clean bill. And Kevin McCarthy, the House Majority Leader, interjected and said, Mr. President, I don't think that you quite understand what she means by that. She means a bill that would be DACA only. So, oh, no, I don't mean that. I mean DACA with the additional security measures, which is to say funding for the wall, an end to chain migration, and he added, an end to the lottery system. And that was what you heard Sonny Perdue pick up on in the soundbite you just...
So there's a quick little overview for it. Now, a couple of points. Tell me what you think. Again, let's get a debate going. First of all, the media, liberal mainly, because let's be honest, aside from Fox News and some other much, much smaller outlets, we are generally talking mainstream. We are talking, left-leaning liberals in the opinion shows at least, even if you don't agree in the editorial sense. But that tends to be the way to go because, you know why? People who graduate from arts colleges with journalism degrees and people in arts colleges studying things like journalism, statistically it tends to be a very liberal area of study. So it is what it is. But the first thing I noticed was a great patting on the back, a community-wide celebration that Donald Trump had let the cameras into the negotiation. Oh, how good is this? He's such a good guy. Can you believe he let us all in? This is fantastic. This is unprecedented access. Now, people who have been following this Periscope for a while will know the theory I put forward about 12 months ago in terms of political strategy. And what I see is a potential, and I'll reiterate, a potential strategy moving forward from 12 months ago. That being, there was a lot of talk about the wall and people saying the wall's not going to happen, the wall's not going to happen. And I thought, well, if I'm Donald Trump, you need to make, you need to make ground when the momentum's on your side. But first you have to get momentum. The wall is a divisive issue. You need a groundswell of support behind you to force the issue into DC. So I'm thinking, how would you do this? You've got the 2018 midterms coming up. So I theorised that the wall talk would ramp up in late 2017, early 2018, as a means to chum the waters, prep the ground, till the soil for a number of pro-Trump agenda candidates running in the 2018 midterms. As if to say, if you want that wall done, you're going to have to vote for these guys, right? Now, how do you get that started? How do you turn the population at large talking about the issue that you want them talking about? Which is, in short, immigration, and illegal immigration, to be specific. Cast your mind back to the Brexit vote. I know it was a couple of years ago. What was the main hot button issue of the Brexit vote? There was a lot of talk about fishermen. There was a lot of talk about losing sovereignty. But the main driving issue behind the Brexit vote was immigration. That was the key. That was the linchpin to the entire debate, the entire discussion. It appears to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be told otherwise, that we are dealing with, and thanks for the super hearts, everyone, by the way. I see a lot of flashes going up the side of the screen. Thank you. I think you're overthinking it. Just give me transgender pronouns and I'll be happy. Yes, well, we'll get to those. Don't worry about that. I think we're dealing with the Brexit model here. If you can make illegal immigration a hot button issue in the 2018 midterms, there is a potential there for the Republicans, and more specifically the Trump-aligned Republicans, to win a number of marginal areas. It's all numbers. It's votes in marginal places. That's what you've got to focus on, because history will tell you, in these kinds of elections, the trend swings generally against the White House. So if there's a Republican in the White House, the vote swings towards the Democrats. If there's a Democrat in the White House, the vote swings towards the Republicans. So Trump's battling history there. But if you can make illegal immigration the hot button issue of the 2018 midterms, you've got a chance. But how do you make it an issue in the 2018 midterms? Especially when everyone's talking about Wolf and Bannon and all the side issues. How can you focus the energies of the population into that one specific area? It's got to start somewhere. And what better way to do it than invite the media, who you hate and who hates you, into the negotiations, the initial negotiations about the wall and the Bill of Love, and put on a good face and have open discussions that everybody can see. And that very same media complex that's been warring with you for the past 2 years now praises you and begins talking about the very topic that you want to have the public talking about for the next 6 months. It's just a theory. Just a theory. Tell me what you think. But of course, it is just the negotiation stage. He hasn't signed anything. He hasn't agreed to anything. Nobody's agreed to anything. So, but still a lot of people are saying, well, this is it for Trump. I'm off the Trump train. Someone who's made a bit of a habit of this of late, someone who I really enjoy reading, Ann Coulter. She made this appearance on Fox Business Network the other day. Let's have a little listen.
Conservative commentator, best-selling author Ann Coulter. Her most recent book is called In Trump We Trust. And great to have you with us. You watched the something of a love fest in the cabinet room with the president today, with some, again, of the most unheralded senators serving in either party. What do you make of it?
When Kevin McCarthy is the hardliner on immigration in the room, I think we can call this the lowest day in the Trump presidency.
The lowest day in the Trump presidency. Now, okay, let's think about Ann Coulter as a concept. As Tom Chatelet would say, mimetically. Gee, Slice, thanks for joining us. Now, what is Ann Coulter's gig? Okay, she's an author. She's a columnist. She's somewhat of a provocateur. Now, that's not to say, because she's done this kind of thing before. Okay, this is the lowest day. It's never been this bad. It's selling books, right? She sells books. And again, I'm not criticizing her. This is just what she does. Like, that's her job. So again, that's fine. She's never really been engaged in the alternative media to any large extent. She's always kind of been the controversial conservative that the mainstream media will wheel out for, you know, inflammatory comments or provocative statements. She gets ratings. She gets bums on seats for them. She gets eyes on her products from them. So it's a symbiotic relationship, again, which is fine. But there is a place for people. You know, again, I'm not saying she's being overly hyperbolic, but there's definitely a place for people like Ann Coulter who keep the pressure on. Do you follow me? So she keeps the pressure on the Trump White House. And when people get upset and say, how can you make a deal with the Democrats? How can you change this DACA thing? You're betraying us. That noise gets through. That noise comes through eventually if it's loud enough. And Anne is serving a purpose in that respect. She might not even realize it, but she's definitely serving a purpose in that respect. She's keeping the pressure on. And there's always a place for that. Because if she doesn't, you know, people on the left have this as well. The progressives have this as well. The progressives have people who demand more, demand more, demand more, keep the pressure on. It's something that's necessary. So, you know, I try to take a step back. A lot of people are saying things like, oh, you know, Ann Coulter, stupid, or the other way. Donald Trump, this is a disaster. Let's just everybody chill. It's a negotiation. He hasn't signed anything. He hasn't done anything. It's not the end of the world, but it's okay to keep the pressure on.
I mean, he was clearly trying to overcome the bad press of this Michael Wolff book by showing, oh, he's in command. But in fact, what he did was fulfill every description of him in the Michael Wolff book. He doesn't listen. He has no command of the facts. He agrees with the last person who
we don't
speaks
need to go
him.
through the whole damn book by Michael Wolff. It's a bunch of trash anyway. But what I want to ask you...
Yeah, it's not a bunch of trash. It's not a bunch of trash. It definitely ended one guy's career in politics, namely Steve Bannon. And yeah, I'm just going to riff with you for a second. I just want to quickly cover off Bannon. Just quickly, just go. A couple of people have said, how is Trump going to get loyal support after what happened to Steve Bannon? LA Child, thanks for joining us. I would suggest Bannon brought it on himself. To an extent. He invited the author into the White House without consultation, and he got loose-lipped, big-noting himself. So, these things happen, but he's not a victim. He's not a victim. Loose lips sink ships. Yeah, I mean, the same thing would happen on the progressive side, without a doubt. Item Booker, it's a pleasure to see you. Let's carry on with a little bit more Anne.
No, it isn't.
Yes,
second by second, he was doing...
Let me tell you what. Yes, it is. And for the purpose of this...
He was doing exactly, literally 30 seconds. Di-Fi says she wants a standalone Dreamer bill. He agrees with that. Kevin McCarthy has to step in and say, no, sir, I think we need border security first.
This is the marvelous thing about letting the cameras in. Trump gets to play the good guy as well, from his perspective. Again, being bipartisan, objective, Trump gets to play the good guy. The liberal media machine praises him for doing it. They say this is a turn in the right direction. If Ann Coulter gets upset and keeps the pressure on by saying it's the lowest day ever in the Trump presidency, he can probably take that hit. And again, that's not to diminish anything that Ann Coulter does. I think she's a very provocative writer, very talented. You know, and she's got a gig and she's very good at it. But again, it's like, let's not lose our heads here.
Agrees with that. He's agreeing with people with a 60-second lag, and the Democrats are just taking the position, no, we won't take anything but the Dreamers.
Yeah, well, he says, without question, he says that he's going to have the wall. The problem I have, frankly, is that there was no discussion of the sequence in which these events would occur. And we know that if the wall is not, and I mean constructed, built, before there's any discussion of quote-unquote immigration reform, we know what's not going to happen. That wall is not going to be built.
But again, Lou, how do you get the wall built? You need to have a fundamental... You need to have momentum. It's all about building momentum. And the 2018 midterms for the Trump administration is key. It's critical. They can't afford to lose too many seats, because then they're in trouble. This is just the machinery of politics, of government. It's a very slow-moving beast. Very slow-moving beast. They have a plan today, but a day is a long time in politics, Bad Nicky. Bad Nickel. And again, you've got to get the conversation started on illegal immigration if you're the Trump administration. And what a way to do it than let the cameras in, look like a good guy, have the mainstream media praise you for letting the cameras in and showing everyone. Let Dianne Feinstein say that she wants this and that. Let the other guys say that they want this and that. Hey, they haven't signed anything. It could all change tomorrow.
Is it?
No, of course not. And any amnesty is a 100% amnesty because it goes to the courts. And the courts will say, oh, you may have limited this to left-handed redheads who came here at age 0.
Yeah, Randy Rhoads destroyed Anne's underarms. I just want to put out there for the conservative peeps in the house, everyone should watch Randy Rhoads. Love it. I love it. Even if you disagree with us, she goes right off. Her glasses fog up. It's fantastic. You should enjoy it.
Through no fault of their own. But gosh, we're going to open it up to everyone. And then through chain migration, they get to bring all of their relatives. And actually, I can't say you're wrong. You can say anything about that press conference today, called by Trump himself. He thought this was going to be a great shining moment. At any one moment, you can say he was agreeing to anything. He agreed with DI-FI. Yes, we'll have a standalone Dreamer bill, just granting everybody amnesty, and we'll get... Again,
I'd have to disagree with Ann Coulter. Trump thought this was going to be his big shining moment. If he thought that, why would he agree with them? Right? The object of letting the cameras in to that room to witness the negotiation, to hear what the Democrats think about it, and have Trump saying the love bill, and to have other Republicans saying, no, that's not what we want. The whole point of that was that, to get that conversation out. And he used the liberal media complex, who praised him for it, and they were playing clips of it one after another on high rotation, on repeat, and saying what a great guy he was for doing it. But now the conversation's out there, because it's got to start somewhere. And if you're building towards the 2018 midterms and you want pro-Trump agenda candidates elected, then you have to have the public talking about what they're going to be elected on. And if they're going to be elected on immigration as a concept, i.e. the Brexit model, then it has to start somewhere. And that's where it started. The anti-Antifa, thanks for joining us. Anne knows she's playing a role. She could well do. Like I said, I think maybe just before you popped in, she's keeping the pressure on. She's a provocateur. She's an author. She's a columnist. She's a viper with the pen. And she's keeping people up. She's getting people in, which is fine. Which is fine. If that's what she's doing, that's what she's doing. That's her gig.
To that comprehensive immigration stuff later. No, Lou.
Yeah. It says her name is @Lou Dobbs, which is interesting.
This is a disaster. It was the lowest day of his presidency.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more about the difficulty of the day. Let me put it that way. Look, I am an absolute committed supporter of this president. I am also absolutely, without question and unreservedly, a champion of his wall and making certain that we secure the borders before there's any talk with the... This was an assemblage of some of the worst lights of the Kennedy, McCain effort to create comprehensive immigration reform. And a reminder to everyone in Washington, what you do when you don't have a solution is you expand the problem.
What you do when you want to get elected is invite the cameras in, get everyone talking about what you want them talking about, and have them praising you for the privilege of using them. So I'd have to disagree with Lou there. So, yeah. I mean, that's just one man's opinion. I could be wrong. Happy to be told to be wrong. Happy to be debated. But I think purely, you know, again, I'll refer to my friend Tom Chatelet, who's an expert in this area. Memetically speaking, you know, the lowest day of the Trump presidency, I think not. I think he did quite well. I think he did very well. But the way he did well perhaps doesn't present, you know, as a traditional way. You're wrong. Okay. Thanks, Jupiters. Anything on the dementia of the president? Dementia. Nope. I'm not sure that's a word, unfortunately. So, yeah. DACA is going to be an issue. Immigration is going to be an issue leading into the 2018 midterms. He wants a discussion on the wall. He wants a discussion on immigration. How's he going to get it? By getting it together? By getting the media talking about it, whether they want to or not. That's really the only way. And it took the attention off the other news of the day.